Welcome back everyone. So in today's video we will be going through data sharing feature in Databricks environment. Alright, so we will quickly go through a very high level overview of what data sharing is, and then right after that we will log into our Databricks UI and I will show you how to enable this option and be able to share your data. Alright, so what is data sharing? So at a very high level, data sharing is basically how it sounds. It is a data sharing option in Databricks, and Databricks basically uses this feature to allow you to share your data with other organizations. Okay, so you can share data with users who have Databricks enabled on the environment, and you can also share data with users who may not have Databricks with them. Right, so imagine you have data that you want to share with other vendors, users, or a third-party organizations that you're working with. You can basically use this data sharing option in Databricks in order to share that data and provide those users with that data, right? So you can quickly just run down through this document here, and it goes through a very detailed description of what this feature is. And there are two ways, actually there are a few ways that you can share data within Databricks, and a few of them are listed here. So the first one here is this one, Databricks to Databricks sharing protocol. And basically this feature here lets you to share data with users who have Databricks with them, okay? And they have Unity Catalog enabled Databricks workspace, right? So this is basically for if you want to share data with other Databricks users or organizations who have Databricks enabled on their workspace. Right, and the other option here that we have is sharing data using open sharing protocol. So with this option here, you can share data with users who have Databricks or who are using Databricks, and you can also use it to share data with users who may not have Databricks with them, right? So this is another option if you want to share data, and which is pretty nice, right? Because you may have data in your Databricks environment and you want to share with either salesperson or vendors who are marketing your data, and they may not necessarily have Databricks with them, so you can use this option to provide that data to them. Okay, so that is the second option here, and we have another option here for custom managed implementation of the open source data sharing server, and this lets you share from any platform to any platform, whether Databricks or not. Okay, so we're not going to go through this in this video. We will only cover the first two here, the Databricks to Databricks, and then the Databricks open sharing protocol. Okay, so this is how just a diagram of how data sharing looks like. So you have data, let's say this is your provider, this is your Databricks account that has the data that you want to share, and you want to share it with another organization or a user who has Databricks on them. So on this left side here, you have your tables, you'll have your views, you'll have your notebooks, and then now in between comes the data sharing feature here, and this is where you create your share and then list which tables or views or notebooks you want to share, and then you will be able to share it with these other guys. Okay, so we'll go through the process on how to set this up, right? And you come down here, you will run into some terminologies: shares, providers, recipients. So basically a share is a collection of tables and table partitions that a provider wants to share with one or more recipients. Okay, so this is basically the data that you want to share from your environment, and that's called a share, right? And then a provider is an entity that shares data with a recipient. So basically, if you want to share, if you are the person sharing the data, then you are the provider, right? So that's basically how it is. You're providing the data and sharing it with a recipient. And now a recipient is an entity that receives shares from a provider. So that's what it is. So the person receiving the data that you're sharing is a recipient. Okay, and then this document goes into more details on how Databricks to Databricks works. What is Databricks to Databricks, all of those options. It's going to walk through the details, so we are not going to cover that, but I will put this link in the description of the video and you can take a look and read more about it. Alright, so let's now jump over to our Databricks UI and let's set this data sharing feature up, right? So to do that, I will have two accounts. So I have this Databricks free edition account here. I'm logged in, and what we'll do is we will use this option here. Okay, so this will be our provider, right? So we will set the table here that we want to share, and I have another account here. Okay, so I open this in this browser here. So this now will be our recipient, right? So this is now we will share the data from the other account with this account here. So assuming now the other account will be our provider, now this will be the recipient. Okay, so we will go through that process, you know how that looks like, and then also after this I will show you the other option of using the open protocol sharing, where now you're sharing data with somebody who do not have Databricks environment with them, right? So let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the other account, and if you are wondering how to get into this, I'm using free edition. So I did a video on how to sign up for Databricks free edition, what are the features of free edition, limitations, and all of that. So I'll put the link for that also in the description if you want to follow the steps or on how to sign up for free edition. So free edition basically is like if you have previously used the community edition version of Databricks, free edition is a more recent version, and it it's pretty much mimics the real production latest version of Databricks that Databricks provides. So but this one is free. You don't have to pay for anything. You can use it, you can play around with it. It has some limitations, but if you just want to get the feel of how Databricks UI looks like, this is a pretty nice like you can use this edition. It's really good. Okay, so let's go back to the provider account now, and the first thing that we would like to do is to go ahead and create our data, right? So I'm going to load our data, the one that we'll be sharing, and then we'll go ahead and create the data sharing. Basically we'll go through the steps of how it looks like and how to share that data, right? So here I do have this workspace here. Let's go ahead and create another catalog here. We will call this catalog here, create a catalog here, and we will call this Delta sharing catalog, right? Maybe demo. I will just call it catalog, right? Okay, and then we'll go ahead and use default storage for this. I'll go ahead and create this. Okay, so configure catalog. Let's go what's saying there. Add to workspaces. Okay, grant. I'm not going to do any of that. I'll just go ahead and save this for now. Okay, so we have created our catalog here, and then let's go ahead and create a schema inside this catalog. So that schema will be holding our views, our data, our tables, all of that. So let's go ahead and say Delta sharing schema, right? So that will be the schema that will be holding our tables that we want to share, right? Okay, so we have these two now. We have this default one we won't be using. We'll use this schema here. Okay, and we don't have data now, so let's go ahead and load data into this schema. So to do that, I'm going to go over to Kakol, and let's get some random data sets from Kakol. So Kakol is a website that you can use to download data sets. You can also come here and play around. You can run some models here. So it's a very nice website that you can use to get data, okay? So let's see what is trending now. So you can see recently few data sets. These are the ones I've viewed recently. These are the ones that are trending. World Happiness Report, okay? So let's see all of this. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Automobile database. Maybe let's check how this looks like. Automobile database. I believe this might be for cars. So I don't know if it has data. If you go down here, fuel type, aspiration, 26 columns. That's a lot of columns. Let's see how this looks like. So you can browse these datasets, right? So this is automobile data, and so how does the data look for this? Compact? Yeah. So this is how the data looks like for this. So you will have all of this information here. Okay, Audi, you know, all of this. All right, so this is I mean, let's go ahead and download this. It's a very random data, but you can, if you want, there's a specific data set that you want to download, you can basically go and search for that data within Kakol and download it. So anyway, I'm going to just download this. It's a random one. So we'll download this, and then now if you go here, you can see that is downloaded. You have to log in order to download. So you have to log in using your email, and so we have downloaded now. Let's open this. Okay, so this is how this data looks like. Okay, you can see we have quite a bit of columns and all of this data. All right, so there's a lot of data here. I'm not going to go through what this data is. I just want to show you how to share this data. So I'm going to close this now. Okay, and let's go back now to our Databricks environment, and let's load that table up. So if you click into your schema, just click it, you can see right here it tells you, let's go ahead and create. You can see here we have a volume table model. Let's go ahead and just create the table directly from that file, and we are going to browse into the file that we just downloaded, and we will just bring that table over here, right? So if you click it, it's going to now start your serverless starter warehouse, and because you do need some sort of a compute in order to run queries and load data and all of that, right? So you can change the name here, but I will just leave it as automobile data. And so what it's going to do now is going to scan that file, and it's, you know, once it goes through all of it, it's going to preview it, and you can see, yeah, so it finished now, and we are able to see some data, right? So this is how that file looks like, and I think it looks okay. So let's go ahead and create this table. Okay, so you hit create table there, and this table now will be created inside your schema, and you should be able to go ahead and use that table for your work, right? So that might take a few seconds to create. So let's let it run, and once it is done, okay, so that is it finished, and you can go ahead and sample that data. So if you just go to sample data, you can see now that it's loaded. So if you just go ahead and refresh this page, you should be able now to see that within our catalog and inside the schema we have this automobile data here, and this is how the overview of the data looks like, right? And I think you go to details here, you will see some additional information. So if you go down here, you can see that we have around the number of rows here, 205. So let's see if that's the case here, 205. Don't know if it's loaded all of it. Maybe that metric may not be the right one here. Total size. Okay, so yeah, I know these rows here, the number of rows will be the actual rows for this table, but maybe not, that's not the case. But let's just go ahead and run some query here to confirm the number of rows that were loaded. So let's go ahead and do select count star. From now our workspace is, our catalog is delta sharing, and then this schema here, and that's the automobile data. So let's go ahead and check 205. So it loaded 205, which is interesting because we should have had more. Maybe, yeah, I'm looking at a different file. Sorry, this is the file actually here. This is the file here. Okay, so let's see, because the records, yeah, there you go. Yeah, so yeah, the rows should match right here. So you see, you know, we have 206 with the header. Okay, so the rows are matching. We have 205. Okay, so our data now is loaded to our table right here, right? So we have our catalog created, we have our schema, and we have our table here with our data, right? So let's say now we want to share this data with an external organization who have like a Databricks environment with them as well, right? So this is the first option here of delta sharing, and we're sharing this with Databricks to Databricks sharing protocol. So to do that, let's first go ahead and create our share. So what you want to do is inside inside your catalog, just go to catalog here, and then there's a menu up here. What you want to do is you want to navigate over to Delta Sharing, right? Go to Delta Sharing, and in Delta Sharing, you will see two options. So you will see here shared with me and shared by me. Okay, so shared with me, this is the data that somebody else has shared with you. You will see the list of providers who have shared data with you. And then shared by me, now this is now if you want to share data with someone else, right? So this makes you the provider when you want to share the data, and if you're receiving the data, you are the recipient. So you can be both. You can be a provider and you can also be a recipient, right? So let's now act as provider, and let's go ahead and share data. And basically we are going to share that table that we just created, right? So there are two things that you need to do here. If you want to share, you have to first create a share, and then you need to also specify the recipient, right? So let's go ahead and create a share. Okay, so we want to go ahead and do share data, and it's going to ask you here to create a share name. So we want to enter this name here. So maybe we will say Delta Share Demo. You can put a description. I'll click here, continue, and now it's going to ask you to add the data sets. Okay, so basically you want to now specify the data in your catalog that you want to share. So in that case, we are going to be using this Delta Sharing catalog, and you can share the entire catalog, or I don't think you can share the entire catalog. You can actually share you know, the schemas that you want to share within the catalog, right? So here we don't have anything default, and in Delta Sharing schema we have one table. So you can share a particular table within a schema. If you click like that, you can see that you'll see here it's saying you have to grant these missing permissions. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to grant that, and what it's doing here is it by default ended up, so let's uncheck that. You can, if you click like that, right? So so if you click the table, this option pops up saying do you want to share the schema as well instead? Okay, so if you say yes, then it's going to share all the current and future entities under the schema. So if you have like kind of like a relationship with external vendors where you want to share data with them, what you can do is you can create a dedicated schema, and then within that schema you can put all of the tables or fields that you want to share with them, and basically you can just share the entire schema with them, and they will be able to see everything that you put in that schema. Or you can just go ahead and select the tables that you want to share with them. So it's up to you. So in this case, let's go ahead and share the schema as well. So I'll just do share the schema, and this now in future, every time we add a table here, they will be able to see that table automatically on their end. Okay, so we are going to share the schema, and basically we only have one table in this schema, so that's fine with me. Let's go ahead and click continue, and now you can also include notebooks. So if there are any notebooks that you want to share, you can click here and navigate to those notebooks, but in this case we're not going to do that. We're just going to share the table, and then just click here, save and continue. And now the last step here will be the recipient, right? So who is going to receive this data? Right now we don't have any recipient, so I'm just going to say here share data, and so that at least our share will be created. Okay, so our share now has been created, and if you go into that share, you will see that it is pointing us to this schema here and the table that we want to share, right? So basically now if you add a recipient, that recipient will be able to only view this table here that you have given permission to share with them, right? All right, so now let's go back to our Delta sharing again, and what we want to do is, this is our share here, right? So what we want to do is we want now to go ahead, because if you click into this, you'll have overview and recipients, right? So you do not, like right now our overview lists as a schema that we have given the share, and then the recipients, we don't have a recipient. So let's go ahead and add a recipient now. Okay, so we do that. We don't have any recipient, let's create one, right? So so a recipient here represents an organization with whom to share data, right? So grant the recipient access to shares after they are created. Okay, so and you will see down here the recipient type. We have two of them, Databricks and Open. So this is the Databricks here is this option here, Databricks to Databricks. So that means that the person or the organization we want to share this data with, they do have Databricks on their end as well. This other option here means they don't have, they may or may not have, but with this option you have like two available authentication methods. You can have a token or a OIDC federation. So we'll get back to this, but now let's just focus on this first piece here where we want to share Databricks recipient. Basically we want to share with our Databricks recipient who has Databricks on their end, right? So the recipient here is a Databricks user and intends to use Delta sharing on their Databricks platform, right? So that's fine. So let's go ahead and put our name here. So you can put the name of the organization, you can put the name of an individual. I'll just go say Databricks user here, Databricks user. Okay, recipient. So this is a user that have or that has Databricks on their end. Okay, and now what you want to put here is their sharing identifier. Now this sharing identifier is something that the recipient has to give you. Okay, so you will have to reach out to them to provide you with their sharing identifier. That way you can put here and they'll be able to see the data on their side, right? So this is something that you'll have to reach out to them and they will provide you. Now in our scenario, I did mention that we have two accounts. So we have this one here and I have another one here as well. So I just basically used a different email and logged into this account. Now to get the sharing identifier, what you want to do is go into your catalog and then go to Delta sharing here. And then right here on the top right corner here, this is where your Delta sharing identifier is. So all you have to do is click this and basically copy this sharing identifier. So just go ahead and copy this and you can send it out to the person who wants to share the data with you. So since this is me and I have shared here, all I have to do is just navigate over here and paste that sharing identifier right here. Okay, so I paste that here and just you can add any description, but I'll just now go ahead and create and add recipient, right? Okay, so and by default now it's asking us to select this recipient to receive this data. So we'll go ahead and do that, add here. Okay, so once you add that, now you have this sharing schema. So basically this schema, this recipient now has access to this schema, and inside this schema we have one table, right? So that's how it works. So once you do that, right, so once you do that, so you can go to recipients. This recipient now has access to this sharing demo, and this sharing demo has this schema, and this schema has this data, this table here, right? So that's how, you know, everything. So pretty much whatever you put in the sharing, in the share that you provide, within the share, again, we mentioned that a share contains a table or a view, right? So we have provided ability, or we have shared this sharing schema here now. So what we expect now, once you do that, actually you're done, right? Once you do that, it's pretty straightforward like that. Now what we expect to see is this recipient, because we kept the identifier right here, what we expect to see is when we log to that side, we should be able to see this data on that side, right? So let's go ahead and check that. So I'll go over here now, right? And I will refresh this page here. Okay, so I'll refresh this, and the way when you are a recipient, you will see all of the shares, anything that has been shared with you, it's going to show up here, right? So if you're going to be using this free edition to kind of like demonstrate this, there might be some permissions that you have to enable. So just go ahead and enable those permissions. You might have to grant usage provider and things like that. Just go ahead and run those SQL queries, and you'll have the usage permissions and all of that. But here now, I have two shares here. The first one here is this one for AWS, and I think this one comes by default. And then the second one here is this one here. So that is that account that the provider here. So that will be this account here. So if you click into this, you will be able to see now anything that has been shared with you by this provider, right? So if you go here, you will see that now this provider has shared it as this share called Delta Share Demo. And if you click into this, you will see what is inside there, right? So that's the schema, and we have one table. But you will not be able to consume this data directly from here, right? So you won't be able to consume. So if you want to consume this data, you will have to load this data into your catalog. You'll have to mount it into your catalog. So this now will be your recipient's catalog environment. So to do that, just go ahead and click your mount, and you can mount into an existing catalog, or you can create a new catalog, and this schema is going to be mounted there. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to say here Delta sharing, let's say CLT, CT, like that catalog, I don't know. Yeah, just put something fancy here. And then we just go ahead and create it. So that Delta sharing catalog now is going to be created in our workspace right here. So you can see now on this side here, what is going to happen is this is going to be created. So you will see the share data under Delta shares received. So what you can see is if you navigate now into this Delta sharing catalog here, you will see that schema that has been shared with you. So you can navigate into that Delta sharing schema. So this is what our provider, this is a schema in our provider side, right? That is the schema that we created on the other side, and we are able to see that schema on this side as well. So this is not something we control, it is the provider that controls. So if they share the schema with you, then you will see the same schema here. Now, if you have some specific permission, like naming conventions as a receiver that you usually use in your environment, then you can just communicate with the provider to create a schema on their end that matches, the naming conventions that you have on your site, so that when you get it, you'll just receive it the way you like it, right? But anyway, so we see the schema here, and within this schema we see our table. So you go into this table. Let's see if we can view the data, but you can see like we have the same columns there. And then now you can go ahead into the sample data here. You have to start your compute instance, and once that is started, we should be able to see this data, right? So that data will be able to show right here. Okay, so that has started, and now our sample data, we should be able to see that sample data right here. Okay, so let's just give it a second, and that should be able to show up. You can also run the queries now against this automobile here, right? So you can go to your SQL editor and then run queries against this, and let's probably see that, because I've never tried this option before. But let's see if we are able to run queries now. So let's say select star from, now that will be Delta sharing CTG, right? So you can actually query from Delta sharing, and then that is going to go to our Delta sharing schema and our automobile table. And if you run queries against that, that's also going to run, and you can see that we have data here now, right? Very nice. And you can see that it's sharing all of the rows, 2 or 5 rows that we have on that table, and we are getting all of those rows from our end as well. Very nice. Okay, so from here now you can do whatever you need to do with this data. You can create dashboards, you can do analytics on top of this data. You basically now have access to that data, and you can do whatever you want to do with this data that's been shared with you, right? Okay, very nice. Again, from the recipient point of view, you will see the data under Delta shares received, right? And you can still go to your Delta sharing homepage, and you will see here you will have all of the providers that have sent you the data. Okay, now again, I did mention that you can be a provider and a receiver. So in this case, we are receiving the data. If you still want to share the data now, let's say you want to share some data that you have on your end to the other guys, you just go through the same process. You create a share, you provide the table that you want to share, and then go ahead and enter their sharing identifier, and they will be able to receive the data on their side. Okay, so now let's say a scenario where you as a provider, so let's get out of our receiver account here. Now let's say as a provider here, you want to revoke, right? You want to revoke the permissions to that organization that you are sharing the data with. So let's say, whatever project you guys are working on is ascended, and you no longer want them to have access to this data. So there are two things that you can do. You can go ahead and delete that schema entirely. If you no longer want the data to be staying in that schema, so you can just go ahead and delete the schema, and once you delete that schema, they won't be able to see it on their side, right? They will no longer receive that data. Or you can go into your catalog and sharing here, and if you go to the this one here, right, you have shared with this one here, I think you have to go to recipients here, and this Databricks user recipient, you can do a revoke. If you revoke, basically this means that those guys will no longer be able to get this data, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So once we revoke, so we have revoked now, so basically these guys will no longer be able to see that data. So let's see if that's going to be the case. We go here into our recipient account, and let's refresh this. Okay, we'll refresh this page here, and you will see that this option is still there. I wonder if we will still have access to this table. So there we go. So you can see now schema sharing does not exist. So you can see this error is showing up now because we have revoked the permission for this guy. So you might still continue to see the option here. I don't know if it's going to go away after some time, but basically you will no longer have access to that schema. Okay, so that's how like revoking works. So you have revoked it, these guys will no longer have access to that data now, and basically you're good to go, right? Okay, let's go back here. I don't know if we can give them the share again. Yeah, you can revoke it, so it looks like you can only do it one time, and now you'll have to probably create. Okay, yeah, we have deleted yeah, so we have revoked it. So I guess how many recipient we have? Do we still have the yeah, we still have them. So if you want to enable it again, you just have to go here and add them, right? So you add them back, and when you come here on this side here, where is that account go? I think I logged out. What happened? Okay, yeah, right here. Okay, so here, if we go back now to our catalog here, we have enabled that permission again, so hopefully we will be able to see now that data again. So let's see. Oh, I think you'll have to probably create it again. If you go here, let's see if we still have access to these guys. Okay, automobile. Okay, so let's go there. Yeah, looks like yeah. So we do have access now. It gets enabled again. It might take a few seconds, but yeah. So when you give them the permissions back, they will see the data, right? Very nice. Awesome. So that's how it works. So you can give them permissions and revoke the permissions anytime. And once you revoke that the permissions, they will no longer be able to receive the data on their side, right? Awesome. So I think we have covered that well enough. Like Databricks to Databricks data sharing. That's basically how it works, right? You create a share, you add the assets, basically the schema, the tables, the views, the notebooks that you want to share with those guys. You create the recipient and give the recipient permissions to use that share, right? And once you do that, they will be able to receive the data, and they can go ahead and create the tables on their end. They will be able to use that data, right? Very nice. Now, within the same share, you can create multiple recipients. So this is a Databricks recipient. Let's go ahead and add a recipient. We'll create a new recipient, and for this case, let's say this is going to be a non-Databricks. So I'll just use DPX here, non-Databricks user, right? So this is going to be a user who do not have Databricks on them. They don't have any Databricks environment, and they want to still continue using this data. So for that option, you can do two things. I mean, you can do one thing here. You'll just have to switch to open protocol here. So this open protocol lets you share your data with users who either have Databricks with them or who may not have Databricks. So if the user has Databricks, they'll just get the URL that you give them, and then when they load it, they will just go ahead and load it to their unit catalog environment. So here we have two options here to authenticate the token or OIDC federation. So this token here, the recipient is authenticated via Databricks generated pair token, or this other one here, they will be authenticated via OIDC token based federation by selected ITP. So let's go ahead with this token here. And this token here, you can give a token lifetime, so you can set the expiry date for this token. So for that, let's just probably do 1 day, and then we'll go ahead and create and add the recipient for this. So if you do that, we'll add this recipient here. Let's go ahead and add. So once you do that, you will get a link here. So for recipients who are not Databricks users, send them the activation link so they can download the share. The link can be found in the recipient detail page later. Okay, so just go ahead and copy this, and then just click OK here, and you send it to them, right? So you send it to them, they will be able to open it. So let me see how that looks like. So I'll just paste that link here, and then you can see now. So when they see it, you have been given access to data set through Delta sharing. Okay, so you can go ahead and download the credentials so that at least you don't lose it, and you can open it with any of these options here. You can open it with Databricks, Pandas, Apache Spark, Python, all of this, right? So up to here, I'm not going to go into details of this, but basically if you open one, like for example Pandas here, it walks you through how you can set up and use this data, right? So you can go here and basically you can go and write a Python code that is using Pandas to consume that data, or you can go into like Power BI. It walks you, all of these options are there for you, and they walk you through the steps of how to use this data. Okay, so I'm not going to go through that, but that's an option for you if you do not have Databricks environment and you want to consume data that has been shared with you through Delta sharing. All right, very nice. So I think that's pretty much it here. We have gone through the 2 steps or processes of how to share your data. So we shared with a Databricks recipient, and basically this user has Databricks with them, and I showed you how that looks like on the other end. And then we went through the other option of now just, if a user has no Databricks with them, you basically just generate a token for them, and you send them the token. They will be able to use that token to access the data, and the process will be similar. If you want to revoke, you just come into your data sharing here, and basically you just want to revoke that recipient, right? So just go here and revoke, and they will no longer be able to access the data, right? Very nice. Alright guys, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to show in this video, how Delta sharing works in Databricks, and I hope this video was useful. If you're looking for the steps on how to set Delta sharing and how it works, I hope this video was helpful, and if it was, please do give thumbs up to this video, and also subscribe to the channel if you have not, to stay updated for videos like this. Also do share with your friends or colleagues who you think may benefit from this video, and definitely do stay updated. Alright guys, that's it for today. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.